You ready for this, AP? Have you seen this, AP?
No.
Okay. You're in for a treat, buddy. You're in for a treat. Muhammad Hijab says, if your issue with Muslims, instead of hiding behind Tommy Robinson, if your issue is with Muslims, instead of hiding behind Tommy Robinson, why don't you engage the Muslim community directly? We're going to look at hijab's various means of trying to get Elon to shut up about the grooming gangs. Isn't that interesting? You've seen this over and over again where someone goes, look at these grooming gangs. This needs to be stopped. And then it'll instantly be they'll get an instant response from Muslims. Why are you being Islamophobic and attacking Islam?
Islamophobia.
Like, wait a minute. I didn't say one word. People are going, I didn't say one word about Islam. I said grooming gangs. And why aren't people focusing more on this and doing something about it? And you jump to, why are you attacking Islam? Interesting that you guys are the ones who are associating this with Islam. Let's go ahead and check out some of Elon's tweets, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to check out some of Elon's tweets. Thoughts on this video. So he shared this Visagrad 24 video. Everyone be sure you're following Visagrad. He shared this Visagrad video, and a lot of people started jumping in, and that generated a lot of engagement and so on. People blasting him, Tommy's evil, whoa, how could you do this? And other people, free Tommy, free Tommy. And so he shared that, and then again, I had no idea how much he was. I knew he was posting a lot and sharing a lot, but it's a ton. What is this? Full public inquiry here. What is this? The only way to expose those who turn a blind eye to the grooming gangs is by holding a full public inquiry or inquiry, depending on which preferred pronunciation you go with. So he's sharing this. And then here's something he does as well, which I didn't notice because I noticed when he posted something, but he shares tons of other people's posts and just says, wow, or good idea, or something like that. Right? Wow, good idea, good point, shocking, something like that. And if I were the Dawa clowns who are trying to silence this is the most terrifying thing that Elon is doing right now. He is able to instantly get anyone else in any post a bunch of new views, a bunch of new interactions, a bunch of new followers, and so on. And he's doing it with everyone who's exposing the grooming gangs, especially the people who are in the UK. People are complaining in the UK, and especially some of the previous victims or people who are affected. But you can see, like keep in mind, I just went back to January 5th, and now we're just scrolling up, and he keeps bringing it up. So here he says, absolutely. In response to no national inquiry into the rape gang scandal, Labor confirms this will not go away. We will not let this go away. And so for a while, it's mainly him sort of amplifying the voice of people. Here, Mario, BBC called child victims liars while rapists went free. Shame on these little girls for lying about these innocent, wonderful Pakistanis and so on. And then he responds, talking about the BBC here, you don't hate the media enough, especially state propaganda arms like the BBC. It's the same BBC that sheltered and paid Jimmy Savile, one of the most horrific pedophiles in British history for decades. He's posting lots of graphs and so on that people share. What is this? And, oh yeah, that's the other thing that I didn't really notice much. But scrolling through them, I saw it more than I was aware of. But he's also posting lots of statistics from other countries. So Denmark and other European countries and so on. And so he says, are these numbers accurate? Community notes. And what is it? Visagrad violent crime conviction rates for a number of nationalities in Denmark. And you look there, and at the top, it's Kuwait, and then Tunisia, and Lebanon, Somalia, Jordan. What all those countries have in common? What do they have something in common there?
This seems quite minoritophobic.
It does. All right, and then he starts boosting the voices of, this is Samantha Smith here. She was one of the victims of the grooming gangs for almost a decade, from the time she was 5 until she was 14. And so she's sharing this. He says, the more you investigate, the worse it gets beyond what you think is possible. Here he says, troubling. What is he doing? Every person who tweets some information about this, it takes him all of 2 seconds to boost that content seriously, like massively. And he keeps doing it. This is why this is relevant. And this is why the Muhammad Hijabs and Ali Dawas of the world are freaking out and losing their minds right now. He's boosting and amplifying the voices of people who are blasting away at Islam over the grooming gangs and blasting away at Islam's primary defense, which is all the people who try to silence you if you bring this stuff up. Like the politicians and the journalists, what's he doing? He's blasting away. He's blasting away at the BBC. He's blasting away at the politicians. He's going to get those politicians out of office. Might be soon, might take a while, but it's going to happen. According to a review of German crime data, Pakistani nationals in that country, so this is Germany. That's what I said. He's posting stuff by various countries. According to the review of German crime data, Pakistani nationals in that country are 4 times more likely to be implicated in sexual offenses against children than German citizens. As is often the case in Europe, Afghans and Algerians are worst. So this is top 10 suspect rates for sexual offenses on children in Germany. Police data 2017 to 2021. And so the number there, when you see times 6,8, that means 6.8 times more likely than an average German citizen. But look at these. Look at the countries that are all significantly higher. So Afghanistan, the worst. An Afghan migrant is 6.8 times as likely as an ordinary German citizen to what is this? Suspect rates for sexual offenses
on children.
Look at the countries: Afghanistan, Algeria, Guinea, Pakistan, Gambia, Iraq, Lebanon, Somalia, Syria, Tunisia. What do all these countries have in common, ladies and gentlemen?
We can't talk about that. It's racist and bigoted and Islamophobic.
They're in completely different parts of the world. Some in Africa, all the way out to Afghanistan. Very different parts of the world. Very different parts of the world. The Middle East, Asia, Africa. Very different countries. What do they all have in common? Massively higher crime rates when it comes to molesting children. Huh.
And what do all of them have in common? They are mostly Muslim.
Oh, look at this. Imagine you are a father going to rescue your daughter from gang rape and possibly murder, but the police arrest you instead. He's actually commenting on a video there. Let's go ahead and watch the video.
To say where Elizabeth was. So I come across, because I lived on next estate, I come across, banged on the door. I saw a movement in curtain. Then within probably 5 minutes, a police car arrived. They asked me what I was doing. I told them. They arrested me and took me back to where I lived, and then they arrested me. So obviously I'm sat in the house again, and I was getting more and more frustrated. So I come back over to the flat.
Well, an hour later or something, was it?
It was about 20 minutes.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
So it seemed within minutes, a van pulled up this time, and I think there were 2 or 3 officers. They arrested me, took me down to the police station. Took me in police station. They didn't take me to where they usually charge people.
Guys, catch that? So at first he calls the police to try and help him get his daughter back. They arrest him, just take him home. They just take him home, say, hey, mind your own business. If all these Pakistani Muslim guys are gang raping your daughter, you need to stay out of it. Who are you? Who are you? What makes you think you're so important that you get to stop these guys from gang raping and drugging and pimping your daughter? So anyway, they took him home, dropped him off, let him go. Then he goes back 20 minutes later, and then they show up in a van and arrest him, take him to the police station.
And that took me straight through into a room near cells. So I'm in there. About half an hour later, they come and got me. Come on, you're going. I went, what do you mean? just follow me, they said. So I followed them, and they took me through officers and out from Wheat police station is Wheat public going. And they warned me if I come back to the flat, I'd be arrested for stalking. Because stalking laws had just come in then. You know,
You're stalking your daughter, trying to get her back away from these guys who are raping and pimping her.
serious ones. So they let me go.
But what happens if you say, like, my daughter's in there, I want my daughter out? What do they say to you? She isn't in there, or she wants to stay in there, or what do they say to you?
The way just it was what they were saying to me, it was what they were threatening me with. You know what I mean? They wouldn't answer me questions. Why wouldn't they get her out? Why wouldn't they let me get her out then if they don't want to do it?
Yeah, I mean, think about this. Think about this. There are two things. One, if police find out that a young girl is being used by a bunch of Pakistani Muslims, they should be the ones who go in there to stop it. If for some reason they said, you know what, we're not going to get involved, at the very least, it should be open to a father to go do something to protect his daughter. No. They won't even let that happen. So what they're saying is there is absolutely no hope and no rescue for your daughter. As long as these guys have your daughter, there is absolutely nothing you could do to stop them. And if you try, we'll lock you up. We'll lock you up for trying to rescue your daughter.
And I just kept coming back all the time. Look, you're targeting people because of their race. I said, I'm not at all. It's because of what they're doing. These are grown men.
So guys, this goes on and 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 on. Too many to cover. But then we get the response from Muhammad Hijab. Go through these rapid fire. Muhammad Hijab says, if your issue with Muslims, instead of hiding behind Tommy Robinson, if your issue is with Muslims, instead of hiding behind Tommy Robinson, why don't you engage the Muslim community directly? Instead of just tweeting on your platform. The far right and their political allies have successfully revived attention to the Rochdale grooming gang case. Guys, it's 41 known towns where the grooming gangs were operating. He acts like it's just this one place. An incident that began over 13 years ago as a calculated distraction from the atrocities they currently support. A genocide claiming the lives of tens of thousands of women and children. You catch that? Why are people talking about these grooming gangs right now? Because they're trying to distract attention from the genocide. How can the West, here you go, how can the West claim any moral high ground when the Israeli bombardment of Palestinians, supported by its own powers, has unleashed more death and devastation than all grooming cases and terrorist acts by Western Muslims in history? Think about what he's saying right here. People are saying, how are Pakistani Muslims able to get away with all this rape and gang rape? And Hijab, but what moral high ground do you have to stand on when Israel is bombarding Palestinians? Why is Israel bombarding Palestine? Because Hamas came in and raped and killed a bunch of people, took a bunch of hostages and so on. And so if you actually say, hey, Israel has a right to go find the people who did this and to find their hostages, you cannot object. According to Muhammad Hijab, you have no right to object to 12-year-old girls being groomed, drugged, raped, gang raped, pimped, beaten, tortured, and sometimes killed. This is the thinking of this tactical genius, Muhammad Hijab. So here Elon said, rape of British girls on a genocidal scale. Why not hop into that electric Mazda you like to call a Tesla? Drive your Cybertruck of a body to the nearest library and immerse yourself in some academic research on grooming gangs and their alleged connections to Asians, Pakistanis, or Muslims. What do you say of that, the white liberal Westerners who groomed your son to cut off his penis and cut ties with you? Do you think this would be probable in a Muslim country? Here it's I don't know the background of this. I've heard stuff like this before. I think one of his kids was manipulated into being trans or something like this, and
Yeah, one of his kids, his boy, I think Xavier or something, is turned transgender and now identifies as a girl. And he talked about this publicly several times, and basically said that that the woke mind virus killed his son, and things like that. So that this is what he's on about.
Yep. And once again, guys, as Muslims, if you really don't believe these guys have anything to do with Islam, how easy would it be to say, thank you, Elon, for exposing these guys who claim to be Muslims but are against the teachings of Islam. And we're going to join you in exposing them, and we're going to show from the Muslim sources that all of this has nothing to do with Islam. How different. Instead, it's shut up. And let me try 10 different ways of making you shut up about this. They're doing the exact same thing everyone else does, trying to quiet it down and trying to keep people from talking about it. Here we have Hijab again. I'm sorry to say, but you couldn't protect your boy despite being a billionaire. AP, look at this one.
Your boy.
I'm sorry to say, but you couldn't protect. So this is Elon Musk saying that we have to protect little girls. He's responding. Hijab is responding to the idea that we should protect little girls from gang rape. Hijab responds and says, I'm sorry to say, but you couldn't protect your boy despite being a billionaire. Now think about this. If you couldn't protect your son from transitioning, you couldn't stop it. Now, Hijab's rule is if you couldn't protect your son, despite being a billionaire, then you should never try to protect little girls who are being gang raped. Like, guy, what's amazing is look at this, 5,800 likes, 5,800 likes. Guys, this is insanely stupid reasoning. If you couldn't protect one person, you couldn't protect anyone else. Muhammad Hijab, guess what? Your prophet couldn't protect his sons from dying. And I'm not saying that as a criticism. I couldn't protect one of my sons from dying. I couldn't do it. All my efforts. Does that mean I should never protect anyone again or ever care about anyone? Is that what it means? Does the fact that your prophet, in spite of being a prophet, couldn't protect his sons from dying, does that mean that your prophet should never care about or protect anyone else? In other words, do you believe in what you're saying right now? No, you don't. You're saying it because you know your followers are idiots who will like anything you say, no matter how insane, no matter how hypocritical, no matter how stupid, they'll just like it because they're that desperate. And they're in a panic mode because they're being exposed for supporting the stuff that the grooming gangs have done.
If you will know that I've been engaging one Elon Musk, who is an electric car salesman, on Twitter. And this individual has jumped on the Tommy Robinson bandwagon, actually now unconditionally supporting him and posting some of his tweets online. This individual who has a very unusual and atypical family history.
You catch it? You catch it? What's he do going after the family? So I insult you. Ho ho! You're just an electric car salesman. And now let me talk about your family. This is what will work. I will talk about his family and insult his family. You've got to love this guy and how stupid he is. This is the worst tactician I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, he does the absolute dumbest thing you could do in this situation.
How about you get on your knees?
Oh, boy. Awesome.
Whose father was engaged in incestuous behavior with his stepdaughter, in fact.
Did he just call AP? I always get confused between daughter-in-law and stepdaughter and like the step and the in-law. Is it a stepdaughter is not a blood relative, right?
No.
Okay. Everyone got that? Everyone correct me if I'm wrong. I'm looking at the chat right now. I always get confused by this. I have to actually think about it. What's the difference between stepdaughter, daughter-in-law? This what?
Yeah. He's a stepdaughter would be somebody that is not related to you.
Okay, so it's not a blood relative, but he calls it incestuous. That's what he did?
Yep.
Can we say indisputably that Prophet Muhammad was guilty of incest, following exactly what Muhammad Hijab just said. That Muhammad was in an incestuous relationship.
In a way, yes.